All right, so we're officially live. I have the whole live stream updated. There we go. All right. I'm going to have chat over here in case anybody joins, but I'm just going to get right into it. So I've already been editing this wedding video over here. This is the last wedding that I did in 2022, and the main video has already been delivered for quite a while now. This is kind of how I have things organized here. So I have all of my media over here. I have each camera, and granted, this is not the most organized thing in the world. I've updated my media organization since then, but I've got each camera has its own folder, each audio source has its own folder, and then I have a folder for music. And every time I nest a sequence to do slow-mo and warp stabilizer, each clip has its the nested sequences have their own folders. Anyway, so then after I have all of this organized and ingested into Premiere, I synchronize all of the big moments. So here's the ceremony with each individual camera and audio source, and then I just pick the audio source that's the cleanest. Here's the first dance, or rather all the cameras that are in the first dance. I think for the highlight video I pretty much just used the A7 IV. Here's first looks with Dad and Austin. And then here's stuff for the reception, and pretty much the reception just has the toasts here. But what I'm doing today, I'll come back to the big moments later, but what I'm doing today is I'm working on these social media moments, where I go through all my B-roll and just kind of make shorter videos out of various parts of the day. So here's a bunch of B-roll of bridal prep. Here's a bunch of B-roll of the ceremony space, and the ceremony space has its own social media video, and that's what this is. I always say that when I'm shooting B-roll throughout the day, I'm kind of making microfilms, which really helps get the shots that I want for a much longer video. But you can also break these down into smaller videos and post them on social media. So here's shots of the dress. I see a lot of people where they only get maybe like 1 or 2 shots of the dress, but I'm always of the mindset that you should get at the very least 4 from different shot types. So you should always have a very wide shot of the dress in context with the location. So we kind of hung it up here. And then I got this little bit of it draping as a close-up. I got a much more kind of medium shot of the dress. And then this was one where I wanted to show the whole dress in context with the scenery, but then have this foreground element of the window frame kind of parallaxing with it. What else do I have that's actually edited? There's a bunch of reception details. And this is all just B-roll of reception details. So I've got the dessert table and the like table that the guests are sitting at. And then a closer up shot of the centerpieces and an even closer shot of the centerpieces. And then this was the head table. And, you know, like when you shoot these little things here, you know, there's a story being told everywhere. It's not just the story of the wedding. There's all the planning that went into the wedding, and you want to be able to capture that story as well, because there is a story behind it, and the couple's going to remember it, so they want to see these details. Whoa, that got a little jello-y, but whatever. And then here's the rings. You know, when you're doing detail shots with the photographer, you know, the photographer is going to have their artistic vision and layout, and you want to have a mind of a photographer when you're shooting this stuff, not just point and shoot. So get creative with how you lay these out. Collaborate with the photographer. And then, yeah, just like shoot these in different angles. Get creative with your shot compositions, not just the layout of the details. You know, shoot through stuff like we had a ton of stuff at our disposal, like various greenery to just make foreground elements. And then they had written their own vows, which was very cute. I loved that a lot. You know, just this part of the day is something where you can get really, really creative with. And whoa. Day is something where you can get really, really creative. All right. Boy, howdy. So when you're setting up your timeline with your couple, don't just say like, yeah, well, you have 8 hours to work with. I mean, some people like to limit themselves to 8 hours, but I'm very much a worker of passion. So I like to be there super early and stay there super, super late. Because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. And I don't want to feel super rushed, because when you're rushed, that's how you miss stuff. But anyway, so these types of clips that you edit, no, I haven't done anything with the venue details, so maybe I'll do that. But these shorter videos here can be reframed into vertical content, which then you can post on, you know, you can post on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. and still showcase your cinematography skills. Anywho, let's focus on venue details. And I just have the same song that I'm using throughout all of these just because I don't want to have to think about it. I don't want to have to think about how I'm going to edit each shorter video to a different song, because I'm going to be going through and doing this with a bunch more videos. So I'll, like, for each couple's wedding videos, I'll change up the song and the pacing, and this kind of help. Just having a template for these shorter videos, you know, this is this is going to be a 12-second video, but having a template for this stuff really helps, because then you have an understanding of pacing throughout all of the videos, and you can pace them very similarly. And then when you go to upload them, you can change, you can schedule each upload and have these, you know, spread out like a week apart or something. So then you can have each of these spread out by a week, and then you can maybe have something where you're showing like a shorter segment of the couple's first look, and maybe the couple's ceremony, or something from the speeches, or whatever. Or, you know, you can always come back and re-edit all of these if you want in a much different method. But for now, I just want to plan ahead with my social media stuff. And yeah, so let's see. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking for the most stable portion of this shot. And this is going to be here very, like, it's going to be gone very quickly, because it's going to pass in about like half a measure of the song or something like that. And then we're going to slow this down by 40%, or slow it down to 40%. Well, that lagged. Fun. All right. New streaming challenge is not being able to hear everything in time. So let's do this. All right. Yeah, so how many venue details do we actually have? Actually, I want to start with an exterior shot here, so let's do this. May not have been satisfied with that when I first shot it. So let's do, and I did this thing where I went through, or I went outside after each super major moment throughout the day. So I got a shot when I was first there in the morning, and then I went back out. I think this was during golden hour. So I have an exterior of the building from golden hour and then right like during twilight. And this was to kind of help transition from scene to scene, even though I haven't shot stuff like this this year, just because I haven't yet. Or I haven't needed to, I should say. But this kind of helps give context of what the venue will look like throughout the day in various lighting conditions. All right, so let's do that. I'm just gonna disconnect all audio here so I don't have to worry about it. It's gonna get super annoying. All right, and then if you can see this little bump right here, that's when a new measure starts, because the bass note changes. So let's do, actually, so I'm gonna do 2 exterior details and then do an interior detail. What time of day was this taken? This is 3:14 in the afternoon. And this one was also taken at, okay, so these were taken at the same time. Excuse me. I swear I've gotten much better at handheld since this video. Not that it matters, because it's getting slowed down anyway. So let's do, I think what I'm gonna do for pacing for this one is I'm gonna hold this exterior shot for half a measure, and then for a beat, and for a beat, and then we'll go inside. God, this is so difficult not knowing because the audio's not, like, when I hit play in Premiere, it's not starting what I need it to. I wonder if could be a problem in OBS. Nope. Boy, it sure is a good thing that I'm doing these smaller social media videos and not a full video. All right, and because this is like the venue overall, let's actually let's see here. Yeah, screw it. Let's pull a shot of the dress here. Specifically, let's pull this shot of the dress. Fuck, that's right. That's about half a measure, I think. And then let's pull a shot from the ceremony space. Let's do this one because when I cropped it vertically, it looked a lot better. And then let's maybe do an exterior at do an exterior at golden hour. Not that I'm trying to come up with excuses or anything, but this was taken, this was filmed in November in Minnesota. So, yeah. Take that information for what you will. Let's do right there. See how that looks. All right, and then let's do barrel down. I'm completely guessing here on where the music changes. Entirely on site. All right, and then we'll, oh, fuck. All right, let's open that back up. And then let's get something from the reception. Yeah, let's actually do this first shot here. Oh, and then what I've been doing for this series of clips here is taking the very first shot and making it loop. And then for this, let's do maybe first dance or speeches. I'm going to do first dance. Come on, pass lane, tell me that you got a wider shot than that. There we go. Right about there. Just gonna pull this whole clip in. Properties. Yes, I did shoot this in 60. Awesome. That's probably enough right there. And then I'll cut right there. And then nest this. Not wave warp, warp stabilizer. I'll do the same with this one. And the same with this one. This already has it. This already has it. This one does not. And this one does not. And then honestly, I don't think that one needs it. So we'll call it good. And then here's how I've been transitioning. I use Gaussian blur. Scroll over to effect controls. I'll make a keyframe for blurriness. And we'll add a keyframe on opacity. So I like to, right at this fade here, where it fades into the beginning of the song, I make that duration for my actual opacity fade. Set this to 50, but I like to have this go out of focus much sooner than the actual fade. And then for this, yikes, that looks bad. We'll first add that. Whoa, not 560. I want to, you know what? Let's do 75. And then theoretically, this should line up with that. And if it's not perfect, who cares? All right, and now let's tweak a bit of color, shall we? That shot's fine. This shot looks a little dark. So I'm really just going to bring the shadows up a little bit. And then bring the blacks down a little bit. You get a little bit more detail in the shadows. We'll do it for this shot as well. That's already fine. This is already fine. That shot looks fine. That shot looks fine. This shot I already worked on. That one's really dark. Whoa, that's a lot of noise. And honestly, that's going to happen with the A7 IV, like practically at night in a very dimly lit room. Honestly, I think this wedding and one other was the one that inspired me to finally pull the trigger on the FX3. Because I've noticed a massive improvement in low light performance since getting the FX3. Oh, excuse me. Anywho. So anyway, yeah, this kind of tells a little bit of a story of throughout the day. And it loops for that view count or something. I don't know. I just wanted it to look pretty on social media. I don't really care how many views it gets. Just as long as the people who do watch it enjoy it, that's what matters to me. Actually, this shot looks kind of warm, so let's add a touch of green and I think that looks a bit better. Let's actually try and... Okay, that's a little extreme. I think that looks pretty solid. Kind of comparing it to in here. Maybe just a hair more green. There. I think that looks pretty good. And then in order to change this from like a Facebook post to say an Instagram or TikTok post, we'll right click on the sequence in our bin and click auto reframe sequence to vertical, and bing bang boom, you got yourself a vertical sequence. But does this really annoying thing where it doesn't always know how to actually frame your shots. Whoops. So I like to just disable the auto reframe. Oh, I realized that I didn't add warp stabilizer to this clip. There we go. All right, so what we're gonna do instead is just kind of manually pick the framing. I want the table to be the subject of the shot here. This one I want it to be the light bulb. There it is. Yeah, let's put it more in context with the building because it's way over there. Yeah. So I'm just trying to kind of maintain a little bit of the same composition as the original shot. But it's really hard when you shoot for widescreen and not for social media. All right, well, whoops. All right. There, I kind of like that. Let's have that there. Shoot, this one's a little tricky because the main idea was the sunset. But let's try and get this tree a little bit more. Better composed. And then this one's all about the centerpiece. This one's about them, and it already did a pretty good job. And then for this one, I am going to just copy the motion settings from here, paste them there. And now we have a piece of content for Facebook, and we have a piece of content for Instagram. Specifically for Reels. And if you wanted to go one step further, instead of having just one for Reels and one for like a grid post, you can auto reframe this sequence to like vertical 4x5 or square 1x1. And then once we're done, all we got to do is right click and export media. We'll save it in there. For the vertical one, I did 1080 by 1920. Render at max, blah, blah, blah. 50 megabits per second, constant bit rate. Just because I don't like the variable. Sometimes it's a little tricky to work with in order to get it to look right on social media, so I just opt for constant. And then we'll export the widescreen one. We'll do match source. And then we'll hit render. And it's as easy as that. How long have I been streaming for? 40 minutes. Now that this one's done, I'm going to end stream here on YouTube. I will keep the VOD up for the purposes of watching later, in case, I mean, I didn't have any viewers in this stream, but if you stop by after August 23rd, 2023, I hope that you got some decent information out of this video or out of this live stream. A little impromptu, but this is something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. I'm going to watch over the videos that I just made in this edit, or I'm going to watch over the videos that I just edited during this live stream and do any fine tuning if needed, just because my audio was a little delayed while I was streaming. And I will likely migrate over to another live streaming service for the next edit, just to see how it works. I'm just kind of jumping around to see what live streaming platform works for me. Anyway, I hope you found some good information out of here. Have a nice day.